In a year and season of unpredictable outcomes, Hofstra gave us one more in the CAA semis, knocking off top seed Delaware on the way to a title game trip. On the other side, Drexel, one of the hottest teams in the country, winning their 8th straight thanks to a 9-0 run as the Dragons flew past UMass. It leaves us with this: Hofstra Drexel for the CAA championship on LSN. This is it, a rematch of the 2014 CAA championship as Drexel and Hofstra each look to punch their ticket for the NCAA tournament. The Dragons hoping to recreate the magic of 2014, while the Pride hoping to hoist the trophy for the first time since 2008. It's the 2021 CAA Men's Lacrosse Championship here on LSN. What's going on, everybody? So excited for this game. Travis Eldridge alongside the former North Carolina Tar Heel, Davey Emola. Davey, both these teams have figured it out here entering this championship game. It was Hofstra off to a great start, kind of dropped with that 3-game losing streak, now going back in the right direction. As for Drexel, they've been one of the hottest teams in the country.
They have been, Trav. Both teams have really had to figure out different ways to win all season long. It's going to be no different today. Expecting a lot of fireworks, high energy, high intensity. Looking forward to it, Travis.
One of the reasons Hofstra has figured it out here is the play of Dylan McIntosh. Came into this game coming off 2 straight great performances, 9 combined goals in his last 2.
Yeah, Dylan McIntosh, he's been the go-to guy for Hofstra when Ryan Tierney has been shut off. You can see he's really dynamic and skilled off ball and around the crease. That being said, he has the ability to beat a short stick. That was the decision that Delaware made last game, to put a short stick on him, and he made them pay. It will be interesting to see how Drexel chooses to play McIntosh today and how he takes advantage.
For Drexel, it's a redshirt freshman leading the show. It's Sean Donnelly, 7 points in the semifinal, the transfer from Syracuse.
Yeah, Sean Donnelly, another guy I've been impressed with all season long. Today is the day for him to have his best game and put it all together. We've seen him put a bunch of goals together consecutively. We've also seen him have some games with 4, 5, 6 assists. He's going to need a heavy dose of both here today to keep Drexel's momentum going. And by the way, Drexel is one of the hottest teams in the country. Coach has got his team rocking and rolling. Coach Volker, today's going to be no different.
As we take a look at our starting goalies today for Hofstra, once again, it's Bobby Casey, the redshirt senior from Wantagh, New York. Started this season with a broken hand, missed the beginning part of the year, playing his best lacrosse here down the stretch, coming off another double-digit save performance in the semifinals, 11 stops against Delaware. On the Drexel side of things, another familiar name. It's Ross Blumenthal, once again in cage. 3 straight games of double-digit saves, including 10 in the semifinal win over UMass. At the face-off X, another pair of guys familiar with each other. You have Jimmy Coita for Drexel, who's been their longtime face-off guy. Brian Herbert, one of the top face-off men in the country, coming into today 8th in the nation in face-off win percentage. As Jimmy Coita, you saw him flinch there early. That's been an issue for him in the last several games. First violation on Coita and Drexel.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, Travis, how the face-off battle goes here today, which team is able to take advantage there. As we've seen, both teams have had sort of up and down seasons around that X. That's going to be a big factor here today.
So Hofstra gets the first offensive possession of the CAA championship. The midfield, Justin Sykes, James Philbin, Riley Forte. At attack, Ryan Tierney, Dylan McIntosh, Justin Linsky. Linsky and Tierney, a couple of high school teammates. Linsky, the grad transfer from Holy Cross. This is McIntosh. Around the top to Forte. And here is Ryan Tierney. No points in the semifinal. Just the 3rd time in his career that he was held without a point, and it's a turnover inside. Drexel picks up the loose ball.
It'll be interesting to see how that goes today here, Travis. Tierney, not having a point last game. You want to come out and have a solid start here in this game. A little bit of a force pass there for a turnover as they look to make a play, though.
Ryan Genord sends it wide. You talk about this Drexel offense, Davey. Every time we do a Drexel game, it's a different guy that has a big game. They have so many different options.
They really do, and I think, it starts with their midfield, with the way Mulcahy is able to beat a long stick, the way Mailman is able to dodge downhill. We see Gnord there just fly on the field, but then also we have Donnelly, who quietly comes up with big games almost every time that they play, so it'll be interesting to see who really takes that lead role today.
This is Gnord, who sends it behind to Sean Donnelly. Redshirt freshman passes it out top. Might have gotten away with the trip there, but because Mailman stayed on his feet, it stays alive. Still 27 seconds left on the shot clock.
It's really solid defense there.
Mulcahy shot by Bobby Casey, rebound in front, and it's Reed Bowering. The Canadian so opportunistic, and Drexel strikes first.
Didn't really have to look too closely to see who came up with that one there. Reed Bowering, anytime there's that kind of loose ball, it always seems to find the stick of 21. No different here. Again, just nice short stick defense there from Hofstra, but Drexel just keeps the ball moving as we see Mulcahy sort of ducks his way inside there, and then any kind of loose ball, Bowering's there, Aiden Cole's there. Drexel just eats those up and gets on the board first.
Reed Bowering, the second overall pick in the NLL draft this past fall. He's headed to play for his hometown Vancouver Warriors. Actually, a defensive player indoors. We see some of those traits come in the ride game and obviously on the ground balls as well.
Yeah, the fact that he's planning on coming out the back door in the NLL just speaks to his athleticism and his capabilities as an overall player.
This time a whistle on Hofstra, and Brian Herber on the faceoff. So Drexel gets a possession, now up 1-0. Dragons team has won 8 straight, including that semifinal victory 13-8 over UMass on Thursday. Luke Tomac has it stripped away. Great defensive play. I think that was Corey Kale, the short stick D-Mitty.
Yeah, Tomac, a guy that we've been talking about, how impressed we've been. Just a little hesitation there, leaving the stick hanging, got that ball checked out. Now Hofstra's going to get a chance here to put the equalizer on the board and get settled here offensively.
For Hofstra, the questions throughout that 3-game losing streak were on the offense. It was, if Ryan Tierney gets shut down, where do we go? Well, they've found a solution here in the last 2 games in Dylan McIntosh, and once again gets a short stick matchup here. This is where he had a lot of success in the semis.
Yep, when we hit on that in the opener, it was going to be interesting to see if Drexel was going to have that same strategy here on McIntosh.
Ryan Tierney feeds in front and just a little off on the pass. Here comes Brent McVicker, the freshman short stick D-Mitty. Out of the IMG Academy, was an offensive midfielder in high school. Has 3 points today, this season, so he's a guy who can go in on offense, but this early in the game, not going to take the chance. This is something we've seen the last several games. Luke Tomac, the freshman, getting a run with the first midfield.
And I like that they just went right back to him.
There it is. Tomac, the freshman. He has really come on strong. His 10th goal of the year. It's 2-0.
And that's why we've been so impressed with him, Travis. Just moves like that, as we saw. Just a little bit of a hesitation on his initial dodge to get that ball checked out of his stick. I love that Drexel puts the ball back in his stick. And you see his ability there to separate, change direction, get back to a strong hand, and then a low-to-low past Casey there. Really nice play by Tomac. Again, freshman's getting better and better every time we see him play.
He's got a big physical frame, 6'2", 180 out of Connecticut. Missed the beginning part of the season with an injury, but was a player that in the preseason they expected to be able to perform the way he has, and he has certainly proven the coaches right.
Yeah, he's going to continue to develop and be really, really good for Coach Volker for a long time.
Herber wins the faceoff, has to go back with it. So now Hofstra has until 60 seconds left of the shot clock to get it over midfield. And they do there.
You know, Travis, so far so good on the clearing. You know, that's going to be a big factor here as this game goes on, is the little things in between the lines that the teams have to do well.
That's Sterling Ardrey, number 28 in the blue Hofstra jerseys. We have a flag down, so a free possession for Hofstra until Drexel could touch this up. They have an opportunity to go at it and get a goal before the penalty is called. There's another flag down, and what a finish! Ryan Tierney!
There you go.
You can flex on him after that.
Flexing to the bench, just pumping up the boys.
This is incredible.
Well, I think, Travis, the thing about Tierney is even before that, he has some uncanny way of getting to the middle of the defense, being able to change direction. I do not know how he gets this shot off from the ground. That is absolutely ridiculous. Not only that, that goes top corner. The placement of that's ridiculous.
And oh, by the way,
Special.
Ryan Tierney with that goal is now the CAA's all-time leader in career goals.
That's one way to do it.
Unbelievable.
Jeez.
Just when you thought you had seen Ryan Tierney score in every way imaginable this season, he does that. By the way, we still do get a penalty. So this is a man-up face-off. This is 3 Hofstra players up along the midline against only 2 for Drexel. They get Brennan Greenwald for the slash. And Herbert went early. Yes, both of them actually went early. But I think that was the old offensive line thing. When the offensive line goes early, then the defense comes. I think that was Coyta's strategy
and then they end up
there.
pointing at each other.
Yeah.
What a shot from Tierney. Wow.
So Drexel can hold this. What they're going to try to do is hold this for the entire minute of the penalty, as they are a man down, 5-on-6. And it'd still give them about 20 seconds to try to get a shot at the end, but their main priority here on offense is kill the rest of this man down situation.
Yeah, and this is where, Hofstra's, they're not going to press him too much at this point in the game with trying to force the issue. Kennard's tough individual to separate the ball from as is.
Yeah, he's a guy who missed some time due to an injury this year. Drexel kind of had some moving pieces in the middle of the season offensively.
He was playing attack, right?
Yeah, they had lost Reed Bowering due to an injury for about a month, so he was out. Then at one point for a couple of weeks, they had Ryan Genord out. They got everybody back and healthy now, and it's been a dangerous offense. We're back to even strength now. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Mailman gives it up. At this point, Mulcahy just trying to put something on net, and it's turned over.
Yeah, in those situations, you want to get that ball to the corner, away from the defense, so they have to set up a clear, not have any transition.
There, just like that, a save by Blumenthal on the long pull opportunity. Michael Oltman's got a number of points this year. He had that shot on.
Big save there. I think Drexel very fortunate to come away with a save.
Dragons the other end, and that shot is high from a pull.
Jeez, those are the ones that you want back there if you're Sean Quinn. I think hands free from 8 yards with a long pull. You want to put that one on cage.
So all settled back to even strength, 2-1 game. That pass was a little ambitious inside. Hofstra says that's off of Drexel. Drexel says it's off of Hofstra. And they'll say this was tipped by a Pride player. Well, we've got differing opinions amongst different officials. And now we'll give it to the Pride. Gotta make sure you get the best angle of all the guys.
That's right.
Our officials today, Doug Donovan, Thomas Holand, Fred McCarrick, and John Kress.
Yep. Worth it to take the time to get it right.
So let's see if Hofstra can build on the momentum of that ridiculous Tierney goal. They went down 2-0, but that one's one of those that can be worth a couple. However, I think they were offsides.
Might be tough to replicate that one.
That's true. Drexel, a little unsettled. Donnelly now will take it behind.
Flag on the play.
We got a flag down as well, as that ball is intercepted by Tom Ford. And you can hear Seth Tierney on the sideline, picked up by our mic, yelling at whoever was offsides.
That's right, and that's sort of, what we just hit on, and the importance of doing all the little things right in these championship games. Those are the little things that are going to come back to affect the outcome. And really, obviously, we're talking about Tierney's goal and how impressive that was, which it was, but really Hofstra hasn't had, a set offensive possession when they've been able to get everybody a touch and really set up their offense. So, just doing things like that, going off sides, are only going to hurt your chances of getting in the flow of things, and I think that's why Coach Tierney is letting them have it a little bit.
Those are penalties you can't have happen in championship games at the end of the year. Those are February penalties, beginning of the season. 32nd man-up opportunity for the Dragons, their first of the day. Donnelly operates from the top, skips down, and there's Bowering. He is a machine from the crease. 2 goals for him, and it's a 2-goal Dragons lead.
Yeah, I really like that connection there, Donnelly to Bowering. And, you think about these two haven't had that many games to play with each other. So I think they're just getting more and more comfortable. Donnelly is a great feeder, and Bowering is as good as a finisher as you're going to find. You love to see the hands there. He just has that little hesitation, which is going to cause Casey to dip, and then he just comes back top shelf above the inside shoulder. Really difficult there to save for a goalie, but just elite finishing from Bowering and nice feed from Donnelly.
So the penalty comes back to get Hofstra. Dragons take advantage. 14th man-up goal of the year as Koita wins the face-off. And Koita is a truck when he picks up that ground ball. Big body Jimmy Koita, 5'11", 215, the senior out of the Bronx.
He is, Trevor, and that's one thing. If Koita gets a couple in a row and Drexel's offense really starts clicking and, they get into that mode where anybody can be effective at any time, it's tough to stay with this team, and it's a big reason that they're on an 8-game winning streak.
Remember, as good as Brian Herber has been for Hofstra at the Face-Off X this year, maybe one of the tightest matches he had in the entire conference was against Jimmy Koita. Won 11 of 20 in the first meeting, the regular season meeting.
And again, just at the X, it seems like every game has been different as, each player is figuring it out one game at a time. Nice
no-look feed, and another one for Donnelly. Bowering's got a first-half hat trick.
Drexel goal, his first of the game, 19th of the season, scored by number 21, Reed Bowering.
Sorry, this was Genord.
Genord, yeah. I was gonna say the same connection we just saw, but instead that's Genord just keeping his eyes up as he's drawing up that left side. And again, we talk about the ability of Bowering finishing. Not only that, the confidence his teammates must have just to throw that ball into him, because he's gonna handle it. He's gonna be able to finish that as well. So we're just seeing that, and the more Bowering's playing, the more comfortable the teammates are getting with him, and the more effective they're being.
Bowering, now you add these 3 goals. He's got 17 goals in his last 5 games.
And as we said, just Hofstra, again, still trying to find their flow a little bit. Drexel, they're throwing no-look passes. They're feeling it already.
This is kind of similar to that first meeting we saw between these two, the 12-8 win by Drexel at home. Dragons got off to a pretty good start, extended the lead a little bit. Hofstra closed in, but was never able to tie it up in the middle of the game as the Dragons walked away with a 4-goal win.
Another, little thing there, another 50-50 ground ball off a face-off comes up. Drexel, another possession.
At this point, Hofstra needs a stop. Tomac feeds inside, it's Aiden Cole. Dragons have responded with 3 in a row.
Yeah, this team's feeling it right now. They're playing really well. Their connection everywhere is going well. I think we're going to get a timeout here from Hofstra, rightfully so. But Tomac just doing another great job, drawing the slide, finding Cole inside, who looks very similar to Bowering on that finishing ability.
Drexel feeling it early. They're up 5-1 in the first. Welcome back here at Assured Stadium on Long Island. What a start for the 2-seed Drexel Dragons. After Ryan Tierney scored to make it 2-1 in incredible fashion, all Drexel has done is respond with 3 unanswered to take a 4-goal lead here in the first. And Davey, it really comes down to, for Hofstra, you can't score if you don't have the ball, and they're not winning face-offs, and they're not getting stops. So otherwise, it's really hard to get the ball either way.
Yeah, you said it exactly right. And then on top of that, if there's going to be some offsides or some turnovers, that's going to make it even harder on you. So I'm sure that was Coach Tierney's message to the team, is to regroup, right? Let's find our base and let's get going from here to close this gap here in the first quarter.
Chase Patterson, a changeup for Hofstra at the faceoff X. This is something we've seen. He's an elite level guy, a sophomore out of Council Rock South High School in Pennsylvania. He's won 65% of the year, and he wins the draw.
Yep, key next couple of minutes here for Hofstra.
Good play by Jack Farrell to get the ball on the ground. It's still loose. It's a big ground ball, and it's won by Drexel. We got a flag down. Let's see who the penalty's on. This came in a scrum. This could have gone either way. They get the cross check on the faceoff man, Jimmy Coita, for Drexel. So a minute penalty coming here for Hofstra. Oh, there it is.
There you go. Yeah, and very timely here for Hofstra to get this man-up opportunity, to get something going here. We'll look to probably rotate off the crease here, get a nice time and room shot for Tierney to get them going offensively.
Linsky flips for Tierney up toward the top of the box. Drexel really extending out to Tierney. They know what kind of range the lefty fifth-year senior has. .30 seconds left of the man up.
Inside.
There it is, but he couldn't catch it. Loose ball scooped up by Blumenthal.
Shot by number 32,
Sam Lutfi had a chance, and what a clearing pass that was.
Both the throw and the catch, pretty impressive.
So Drexel can kill off the rest of this man-down situation, just like they did on the 1 minute man down. They had a man down face-off, they win the face-off, and then they killed the entire man up. Those two plays have been huge in this early part of the game.
I mean, we're just seeing this full Drexel team playing with a lot of energy at both ends of the field. Obviously, we've seen what their offense has done, putting up 5 goals thus far, but even their defense, they're flying around, they're getting tough on ground balls, they're playing inside-out defense. They came out the right way.
Genord. Now Don moves it along. Cole back up to Tomac.
Good time here from Tomac.
Stopped by Casey. That resets the shot clock to 80.
Another loose ball.
Yeah. Genord draws the long pull. Tomac from way downtown up high.
Freshman feeling it a little bit.
I mean, he has that kind of confidence, and the way he's played, it's hard to argue with it.
No, I agree, and I like that set there, just having Genord in that space on the left side. He's so quick and tough to stay in front of. He's instant offense when you get him.
Tomac to Genord, and Genord scores! 6 and
I'm not sure if that skip pass was intended for Genord, but either way, it gets through, and 28 shows you a little bit of his range there. We talk about him a lot here. Gets through Mulcahy and into Genord's stick. He puts that one right in the corner, again, showing you some of that range. And this is what happens when the ball's bouncing in your direction and things are going for you, just like they are for this Drexel team. The ball goes your way, Genord's able to put that in the corner, and Drexel's keeping this momentum hot here in the first quarter.
They have one of the hottest teams in the country, one of the longest winning streak, winners of 8 in a row coming in. And we got an early go by Coita. That's number 2.
Yep.
On the third face-off violation of a half, and then every ensuing violation by a team, it's a 30-second man up. So Jimmy Coita for Drexel has to be careful here the rest of the first half. So Hofstra gets the ball back here. They just haven't had a lot of flow yet today. Sheridan, part of the second midfield for Hofstra. big dodging Canadian. Now swings it over to Tierney. Tierney on the run.
He wants that sweep shot there. You know, if you're Hofstra here, it's key to get back to your basics here of just dodging hard, getting down the alley, drawing a slide, moving it twice, and attacking the backside.
This is Justin Linsky. He's got his man hung up. This to the left. That's a good look. Blumenthal just ready for it.
Yeah, Blumenthal up for the challenge there. I mean, we've seen Tierney convert on plays just like that.
Ground ball by Dylan McIntosh. Skip pass across to Linsky. Another save by Blumenthal. Blumenthal came to play early in this one.
And that's another factor that makes it hard to get your momentum going if you're Hofstra, if you got a hot goalie on the other end. I think the thing with Blumenthal, when he is able to see that first shot and get a stick on it, get a save, that just, it does wonders for your confidence as a goalie. And now he's had a consecutive in a row here, 3 really nice saves to build that confidence.
Blumenthal maybe a little underrated as a starting goalie for Drexel because the numbers aren't gaudy, but we talked about it before. When Drexel needs a big save, he more often than not now over the last 3 years has come up with those big saves. This is Colin Mailman. Wide shot.
Some nice defense there. It's interesting, we're seeing some teams now putting a short stick on Mailman and that the pole being on Mulcahy, which I would actually do myself. I think Mulcahy is a really dynamic dodger, but it really opens up Mailman to attack that matchup.
Yeah, he's a dangerous dodger as we've seen the last couple of years. This is Donnelly looking across.
Nice finish.
Aiden Cole a fake and a score. Everything going Drexel's way.
We're seeing this Drexel offense score in so many different ways. We've seen it on transition. We've seen them be patient on offense. And now we're seeing Donnelly, who is an elite feeder, get here to Aiden Cole on the backside, who has a beautiful fake into a twister finish on the backside there. Was able to keep that in his right hand, which is his strong hand, and then just throw it right at the feet there of Bobby Casey in cage. Nice play, nice look, and nice finish there from Aiden Cole. And as you said it, Travis, this Drexel offense is feeling it in the first quarter.
This is the dream start for Drexel. 7 goals in the first quarter, including now 5 in a row and a face-off win for Jimmy Coita. But Hofstra takes it back.
Those are the kind of plays they need.
Pride really could use a goal here. McIntosh settles it down. Near 30 seconds to go in this first quarter. Hofstra made it 2-1 before Drexel responded with 5 straight. This is Tierney, 17 seconds to go in the quarter. Draws the double. Feed, just off there for the midfielder Forte.
It's good offense though. You know, Tierney demands so much attention. Both defenders go with him. That leaves somebody open. High percentage shot there, just got to put it on cage.
Linsky with 7 seconds to go in the quarter. Linsky around the end. McIntosh the rebound. Goes out of bounds with just about a second to go. They just got to send this in front.
Oh, wow.
Deflection goes wide. And it was a emphatic start to this one for Drexel. Dominant in the first 15 minutes here at Hofstra in the CAA Championship. First, it was Reed Bellring, one of his 3 first quarter goals, and Ryan Genord with a laser top shelf. All Dragons after 1 in the CAA title game.
Enrollments are
is there from the last 19, the Towson Tigers hoisting the trophy as they went on to make the NCAA tournament. No tournament in 2020. Here in 2021, it's Hofstra and Drexel playing for the first time since 2014 title game, and it's all Drexel so far. 7-1 after one as Hofstra gets a possession off the face-off win to start the second quarter. Travis Eldridge, Davey Evelyn back with you here on LSN. Davey, that's key. If they can get some face-offs here for the Pride, they can get back into this game. 6 goals is a lot, but it's early.
No, you're right. There's plenty of time here, and I thought at the end of the first quarter, they were getting some good looks on Hofstra. They were moving the ball better. They were drawing some slides, making the defense work. They just didn't convert on any. So they just got to keep up that same pace. And as you mentioned, Travis, more possessions, right? More possessions, more 50-50 ground balls got away.
Candidate, get passes back out top. A little hitch move by Forte, and Blumenthal has been sharp early in goal. 5 saves now for Ross Blumenthal, the junior out of Baltimore.
Yeah, that's a couple we've seen now from Blumenthal, just meeting the challenge high. If I'm Hofstra, I got to really focus on changing the levels of my shot, whether it's on the run or time and room, and specifically going from high to low here on Blumenthal.
A little confusion for the Hofstra defense. They get away with it as Mulcahy sends it high. Excuse me, Janor.
Janor, just like his last opportunity he got, he's feeling it a little bit, just sailed on that one. But he's showing some range.
Yeah. Tomac continues to be part of that first midfield unit for Drexel. Couple of assists and a goal so far today for the freshman. 3 points. Now Mulcahy makes his man behind the midfielder. Trying to dodge in, feeds across, Donnelly up high.
Great opportunity there, and that's created by Mulcahy. You see, so he was getting the pole. He's been getting the pole all game. He was able to invert there with the shorty, and his dodging ability is elite. He was able to draw that double there and get that pass off. Donnelly just sails it a little bit high, but really just like the offense that Drexel's putting together here. They're consistent, they're flowing well, they're playing together.
That must have got a piece of Bobby Casey because it reset the shot clock to 80. Shot clock only resets on a shot that hits the goal or the goalie. A fresh shot clock. Drexel, Tomac backs it in, sends it high on the bouncer.
It's the right idea, though. Again, as he gets more experience and realizes how to use advantage, right? Getting to the middle of the field is critical there. Just got to put that on Cage.
Donnelly, he scored from that angle. We've seen it a couple of times this year. Long settled set here for Drexel offensively. Mulcahy along the crease. Wow. Mulcahy! 6 in a row for the Dragons. It's 8-1.
Again, we were just commenting, right, on Drexel's offensive possessions. Mulcahy, he's able to dodge from up top, but he really likes and he's really effective inverting there from behind. Anytime you put a short stick on this guy, you have to be able to slide quickly. Hofstra did not have a slide ready to go there. Just a nice change of direction, gets enough angle there, and is able to can that one left-handed. Really impressive by Mulcahy.
And this just goes to show you the depth of scoring for Drexel. 5 different goal scorers so far in these first 8 goals.
Well, I really like their first midfield line here of that Mulcahy, Mailman, and Gennard. A lot of different looks, and then you throw Tomac in that mix as well. It's tough to defend those 4 guys.
Another ground ball by the Dragons as Brent McVicker scoops it up. McVicker, the short stick
thought about it.
It's a couple times he's thought about it. Instead, he gets it to the offense. Second midfield coming on with some light rain starting to fall in Hempstead. Man joined by Zach Augustine on that second midfield line here. This is Augustine. Pass to Waller. Now Donnelly, the attackman from X. Jump shot off of Casey. And a ground ball picked up by Denenza.
I like the aggressiveness, though, of Donnelly. That's what we hit on in our opener here, just of his ability to force the issue a little bit. He's really good letting the game come to him, but also being aggressive and getting your own shot, I think, is critical to keep this momentum going, keep that pace up, because he is the quarterback of this Drexel offense.
Big possession for the Pride. Now down 7 goals in this first half. Agent can give him some momentum at this point.
Great job, Dom.
Yeah, and specifically, Travis, I'm looking at some of the midfielders. I think they got to really just get some separation on these short sticks, whether it's getting downhill, going into a two-man game, but putting more pressure on these Drexel defensive middies is key.
Tierney continues to work against Sean Quinn. This was the matchup in the first meeting where Tierney was held to 0 goals and 1 assist in the regular season against Drexel.
Yeah, Quinn, he's a really just solid defender. Just plays really good positioning, but his checks are heavy.
This is Justin Sykes. Skip passes it across. The shot high.
I think they got a piece there as well.
14 seconds on the shot clock. It does not reset. Tierney goes to get it at X. Tierney splits two. All sorts of attention on Ryan Tierney.
That's
wide open
fine.
on the backside.
Oh.
A save by Blumenthal.
That's first off, that's a ridiculous feed from Tierney, but even better save there by Blumenthal to match that challenge.
Transition chance for Drexel. End to end. There's McVicker, his 3rd of the year.
Drexel goal, his 3rd of the season.
Dragons breathing fire in the first half.
Vicker.
You're telling me, Travis, I mean, what can't go better here for Drexel? Just to have that doorstep save by Blumenthal, again, on a ridiculous feed from Tierney, then just pushing in transition here. This shot is absolutely poked on the inside pipe there. Again, Drexel, everything possibly going right for them, and they're feeling it right now as a group.
We had mentioned McVicker thought about it a couple of times. He finally just said, you know what? We're going to go with this. The freshman out of Annapolis, Maryland, as a face-off win for Chase Patterson and Hofstra.
And I realized I was going to mention that when the offense is really feeling it, that's when some of the D middies or the poles are going to come over. They're going to start feeling it as well. And that's exactly what happened there with McVicker, and he absolutely poked that shot.
This was the question the first meeting for Hofstra when they got down against Drexel is, where's the offense going to come from? Another stop by Blumenthal. 7 saves in this first half.
Yeah, and I think, he's gone from making the saves that he's supposed to make to playing really, really well this first half, as you just said. 7 saves, but, I mean, that doorstep and just the timeliness that they've been has been a factor here.
Jack Mulcahy coming out of the box. A little unsettled situation for Drexel, trying to take advantage, sent high.
That's another thing for Hofstra there. They just can't give up that type of transition opportunity. I think that was just a subbing mistake. It's those little things that if they keep building up, the game's going to get away from them.
I think you look back, and we're seeing it offensively for Hofstra here as Tomac dodges. Bounce shot!
Jeez.
I mean, everything is going Drexel's way. Tomac with his 2nd goal. He's got 4 points in his first half. It's 8 straight for the Dragons.
Now, I'll tell you, first off, Tomac has the ability just to get where he wants on the field. He can get to the middle to set up his shot anytime that he wants. I've also now seen him hit this bounce shot, I think, more than any other player in my recent memory. So I think, obviously he's doing it on purpose, but he's showing you just an arsenal in a different way that he has to score, and he's only a freshman.
Tell you what, he comes in 6'2", 178. He puts on like college weight room weight here the next couple of years. He is going to be a midfielder to keep an eye on for Drexel.
And that's the thing, with a broken hand, you can't necessarily lift.
It's true. You got a yard sale on that off that face-off. Stick goes flying. And this ball on a procedure will give it to Hofstra. But what I was just about to say, you look back at the semifinal win, the 10-9 victory for Hofstra over Delaware. Not a lot of assisted goals, a lot of individual dodges. And Drexel's defense has just been too good for that this year.
Yeah. And, when you're in a game like that where the score is, 10-9, where one's still in double digits, you can win a game that way, right? Because it's the sort of fewer individual plays that end up being the difference. As we've seen in this game, Drexel's just coming out firing, right? They can score almost, it seems, in any different possession in any given way, and that's really scalable, and that's what's hard to stop.
That shot is sent up high. The backup there for Hofstra. Ryan Sheridan trying to use the body to get inside.
And it doesn't help that Blumenthal is playing like a brick wall in goal for Drexel. Just it makes it tougher and more deflating for Hofstra.
Yeah, because they've had some good looks, and
Yep.
when they've gotten them, Blumenthal's been the guy.
Especially, you know, that feed from Tierney and that doorstep save.
Sheridan took his eye off of it. Ball's on the carpet. And it comes up Drexel's way. Another ground ball win.
35, Brennan Greenwald.
Brennan Greenwald, the close defenseman out of California, first on the scene. We saw this Drexel team showcase this in the semifinals, scored 9 in a row to run away from UMass. It just started a little earlier today.
Drexel's going to have some numbers here.
Donnelly splits through. Wow. Donnelly stopped by Casey. Man, had to have that stop.
Absolutely. Not only is that an outstanding save, but you're right, so very timely, right? Anything that we can do to prevent additional goals here from Drexel. I don't know how Donnelly does get to the middle here, hanging onto this ball and eventually gets a shot off, but puts it right into Casey's stick there. Big time save, and they needed it.
Dodged about 3 blue jerseys on that play.
And now the question is, right, can Hofstra's offense take advantage of that save here and build some momentum, right? Just got a big play on the other end. Would be huge for the offense to get a spark here.
Here's Ryan Tierney. Tough angle, Ryan Tierney second. I mean, when he scores, they are spectacular.
Gosh.
Hofstra goal.
I think we need to come up with a new definition for what low angle means for Ryan Tierney. I mean, to be underneath, switch back, and then come up like that.
It's the only shot that can beat Blumenthal today.
Yeah, but just that's ridiculous. That just low to high flick of the wrist to put that so perfectly in the corner with such low angle with a defender on you. I mean, there's a reason he was a high pick in the PLL.
Yeah, 16th overall selection by the Whip Snakes in the Premier Lacrosse League draft. Tell you what, when he is no longer just the #1 option, and on the Whip Snakes, he joins quite a talented group of offensive players, like former MVP Matt Rambo. When you join that and you get if he gets a short stick matchup, like, look out.
I mean, you said it, right? There's so many different weapons. I mean, and, you know, sort of tie that back to today's game, right? The 2 goals for Hofstra have been highlight reel goals from him, right? So he won't have to, you know, necessarily worry about that in the PLL, but today it's about how can they continue that offensive momentum and get others involved.
So it ends the run for the Dragons. It was an 8-0 run for Drexel. Tomac moves it along. Mulcahy sends it wide. You watch Drexel play, and you have to mention the assistant coaches for the Dragons. On offense, you have Stephen Boyle, who obviously was a tremendous player. And then defensively, Tucker Durkin, the assistant coach here the last couple of seasons, still a great player in the PLL.
Yes, he is. And if, you know, obviously Tucker's a great coach and he can tell you all the you know, fundamentals and basics and how to play D, but if they bring any kind of his effort and energy onto the field for when he plays, they're moving in the right direction, you know, because Tucker's an absolute beast.
Donnelly switches hands. It's sent wide. Race for the end line is won by Drexel. Closest to it when it goes out of bounds, and I think it was Bowering that tracked it down. Only 2 seconds left of the shot clock, so he just sends it to the sideline, try to prevent any Hofstra transition, and so the Pride will pick it up.
I still would throw a little bit more into the corner than any kind of upfield, but we're getting closer.
Working on it.
Yeah.
So let's see what Hofstra can do here. They get a goal, they get a stop. Can they add to it? This is Tierney from the wing, starting to feel it. Tierney on the run, way downtown, and that one stopped by Blumenthal.
Yeah, I think he's just seeing it too well today for those to go. You know, we've seen it high to high. He's all over those, and I think tracked that one the whole way.
8 saves now for Ross Blumenthal. A dodge and another stop at the other end. That was Casey.
Seen a goalie clinic here.
Stop by Bobby Casey. Timeout, Dragons.
Drexel takes a timeout as Casey makes his 5th save. Why don't we do a little flashback here to you. The last time these two teams met in the CAA tournament, it happened on this field here in Hempstead, New York. And what a game that was. Triple overtime before this ended it for Drexel. It was Cole Schaefer, the game-winning goal, his 5th of the day. Ben McIntosh, a guy who you may recognize as a great NLL player now, he had a goal and 4 assists. Drexel, at that point, also the 2 seed, and that was their 8th win in a row. So a lot of similarities between this year's team, the 2014 team, the only CAA championship in Drexel school history on the lacrosse field. Dragons looking to recreate that magic here today, and so far, so good. By the way, that was an incredible game. Down the stretch, Hofstra, this will bring back some poor memories for Hofstra fans. They were up by 2 with just under 4 minutes to go. Drexel scored 2 in a row. Pride had a chance to get the go-ahead goal late. There was a slip pick call that was called for an illegal screen. Drexel, of course, keeping it tied as they go to overtime, and then in triple OT, it's Cole Schaefer, the hero.
How about those yellow uniforms they had going?
Dragons meant business
That's
back in the day. Going with the home whites today is the higher seed in this matchup, the 2 seed against the 4 seed Hofstra. But I'm cool if they want to go back with the alternate yellow unis. That 2014 team for Drexel, by the way, went on to knock off Penn in the NCAA opening round of the NCAA tournament. Ended up losing to Denver in the quarterfinals. Tell you what, the way Drexel's playing today, they're going to give somebody a scare if they get into the tournament.
I was going to say, that's the biggest, I think, similarity that I take away is just the 8-game win streak, like you said, coming into this tournament weekend, playing so well, and then eventually, you know, doing some damage in the NCAA tournament. I would not be surprised if we saw that same thing happen here with this Drexel team. They got a lot of weapons.
Mailman switches to the left, shot wide.
Drexel shot by number 9, Colin Mailman.
There was a little bit of discussion amongst different media members, including Inside Lacrosse's Terry Foy of Drexel and Delaware. If one of them didn't win in the championship game, if they would have met here, would somebody get a look at an at-large? Delaware probably had the slightly better resume, but I tell you what, the way Drexel has played, including a win over Delaware in the regular season, if they were to have lost today, it'd be a team that I would advocate for just on the eye test.
Drexel shot by number 9, Colin Mailman.
No, I agree with you, Travis, and I think it's been, you know, interesting and really cool as we see a shot there to talk with Coach Volker just at different various points throughout the season, and you can just sort of see they've had this master plan to build up this way and really, you know, hit their stride when it mattered the most. And I just, you know, hats off to him and his coaching staff for getting this team ready to go week in and week out in what we know has been such a, you know, bizarre set of circumstances, even just getting to a game.
Yeah, 100%. This is a Drexel team, which they're not alone, but they're a team that had very little fall ball. Players weren't on campus that were underclassmen. And so they didn't really have a joint fall ball group together. And then they had a COVID pause that happened right toward the beginning of their preseason. So they had very little preseason before they opened the season against Towson. And they've kind of been learning as they go. Well, they're playing their best lacrosse at the right time of the year.
Yeah. And not only that, getting some really important pieces back. We've been mentioning Tomac, you know, who started with a hand injury. Bowering was out the first couple of games. He's back, and he's hitting his stride, obviously. So it's really coming together.
Donnelly has it saved by Casey. Paid the price, too.
Donnelly, stopped by Bobby Casey.
2 minutes to go in the first half. Still an 8-goal Drexel lead. Hofstra needs a goal here.
I was going to say, that's one thing you know about Hofstra's defense is they're going to play tough. Doesn't matter what the score is or what point of the game is.
Hofstra calls a timeout. They know how big this situation is for Coach Seth Tierney and company. As you see, Seth Tierney, leader for Hofstra in his 15th season with the Pride. Seth Tierney and Brian Volker share a unique past. The two of them not only were teammates at Hopkins, they were college roommates.
Love
you see them there in the front row here of this Hopkins photo. We won't give a year, so not to date
Right.
Coach Volker and Coach Tierney. But the two of them, it's been funny talking back and forth with both of them this year about their relationship. They have a very fun relationship, and actually, interestingly enough, Hofstra needed Drexel to beat Towson in the last game of the regular season so that the Pride could make sure they were in the CAA tournament. So Seth Tierney sent Coach Volker that game saying, hey, can you get one for us? He did. Volker wants Coach Tierney to take him out to dinner as a thank you. I don't know if this first half is doing anything for Seth Tierney taking Coach Volker out to dinner.
No, I don't think so. But I tell you, that's one of my favorite fun facts I've heard in a while. It's just the fact that they were college roommates, played together. But obviously there's a special bond there. But to see them both now leading such strong programs, and obviously, putting these young men through the same process that they went through and becoming, into grown men is just really cool. And they both do such a great job. So great to see that connection goes all the way back to when they were student athletes.
And if you know both of them, they hate each other for the 60 minutes on the field, and then they'll joke about it once they get into the summer and they're at a picnic somewhere.
Absolutely.
That's their relationship. Both fiery competitors, both obviously want to win, but off the field, they're fun guys to be around.
That's right. We've said in our conversations with them in weeks leading up to the games, it's been two of the most fun coaches to speak with. It's always very informative, but just a good time.
Entertaining as well.
That's right.
Here's Tierney with it on the wing. 1:30 to go in the first half. Tierney already 2 goals, and you can see the attention he's getting. Pass is a little wide. Race for the ground balls, won by Drexel. This is George Grippo. He's been a terrific short stick D-midi this season for the Dragons, and they'll take a timeout to keep possession.
Timeout, Drexel.
So we saw this run by the Dragons as they'll look to add one more here before the half. The semifinal, they did not come out this way. UMass came to play, the 3 seed in this tournament. But after taking a 5-0 lead, the Minutemen were not able to keep that going. They were the second half, and the late second quarter was all Dragons. We mentioned a 9-0 run. At one point, they had scored 11 of 12 goals, going on for a 5-goal victory. Reed Bowering had a good game. Donnelly, we mentioned, 5 goals and 2 assists. An impressive all-around performance from the Dragons. Once they got it going, they did not stop. Today, unfortunately for Hofstra, they've just kind of continued where they left off in Thursday's semis.
Yeah, you're right. Today hasn't been as much as a comeback mentality, but I thought their semifinal game versus UMass was just pure Drexel, what we've seen from them this year in terms of just the balanced offensive scoring. Anybody was able to score and be that person taking charge at a time. Donnelly, as you mentioned, Aiden Cole having some big goals, Gennard in there doing his thing, and we've seen more of that today. They just started right from the opening whistle in the first quarter. 10
goals in this first half is a big number for Drexel. They have put up some numbers offensively this year, but not in the CAA, really, outside of the 19 goals they scored against Fairfield. But when this offense gets going, we saw it against Lafayette, a game we did here on LSN, a non-conference game, one of the few non-conference matchups for Drexel this year. Hung 24 on the Leopards, and that was the type of game where it's similar today. Every shot was going in. It didn't matter what Lafayette did. Every shot was going, and this is a team, when they're playing like that, it's dangerous.
They are, and I think, we're almost seeing a picture of it here, but they're able to spread you out so much with the threat that their first midfield brings, right? Each one of those guys is able to beat a short stick, so you have to be ready to slide. Obviously, you have to pick and choose who you're going to pull, and then not to mention, Sean Donnelly, working at X, being the quarterback, he's able to feed, let the game come to him, and they're just able to attack from so many different angles and sort of form to what the defense is giving them. It's putting them in position to be an elite offense.
This is Tomac from the wing. 20 seconds to go in the half. Tomac, freshman, 4 points already. 13 seconds, tries to feed inside, nobody home. That ball, that'll draw a flag. Michael Altman Gave a nice little hack there as he was trying to track down the ground ball. And that's just going to make matters worse because now, as Drexel goes man up, they can hold on to this ball for the final 7 seconds, and then they will just start with the ball, no face-off for the third quarter.
And again, just things continuing to go Drexel's way. You know, a little self-inflicted wound there by Hofstra. You don't want to go into halftime that way, but as you mentioned, that's the way we're going to start the third quarter.
So the Dragons hold on to it. They will start with possession in the third and an 8-goal lead. Drexel looking for their first CAA championship since 2014, their second overall. Ryan Tierney for Hofstra doing everything he can to try to keep the pride in it, but too much Dragons in this first half. Jack Mulcahy and company, they've got an 8-goal lead at the brink. We'll be back for the third quarter, but now back inside the LSN studios for halftime. Welcome back to the 2021 CAA Men's Lacrosse Championship on LSN. At the half, it is all Drexel in this one. 10-2, the Dragons lead. They had an 8-0 run at one point in that first half. Travis Eldridge, Davey Emila back with you. Davey, let's take a look back at these first half highlights. A lot of Dragons, including right from the beginning. Drexel struck first, back-to-back goals, including this one from Luke Tomac.
Yeah, I mean, Drexel, their offense as a whole came out today firing, playing fast, and playing with confidence. We see Tomac, a freshman, not holding back. We see Sean Donnelly skipping the ball to Reed Bowering, who's just going to finish everything that he gets his hands on. We're seeing Gennard show us some range. All right, Mulcahy, his change of direction. They can just hit you from so many different ways all over the field. It's just really impressive.
And then on the back end of things, Ross Blumenthal had a special first half. 8 saves for the junior out of Baltimore, Maryland. He was really a big part of the fact that defensively, Drexel is holding this Hofstra team. It's taken spectacular ways for Hofstra to score, including maybe the goal of the year of the conference from Ryan Tierney.
That is for sure, Travis. Unbelievable effort here by Tierney, able to get that shot off to the upper part of the cage from the ground. Unbelievable. And then here, just absolutely no angle, flick of the wrist, our top corner. That is ridiculous. But as you mentioned, Travis, outside of that, it's been really difficult for Hofstra to generate that consistent offense, and it's just been all Drexel here in the first half.
And when it takes spectacular efforts to score, it's just not going to work, and that has been the case so far for Hofstra. To make matters worse for the Pride, there's no face-off to start the second half because Drexel starts the third quarter with a man-up opportunity. It was Michael Altman that was called for a slash right at the end of the first half on a ground ball, and so Drexel held the possession, and they will have a man-up situation here. 6-on-5 to start this third quarter.
You know, and if you're Hofstra, Coach Tierney at halftime, his message had to have been, right, one play at a time, chip away at this lead. It starts with us getting a stop here on this man-down opportunity and then having a successful offensive possession at the other end. You're not going to get everything back in one possession or one goal. So one thing at a time, stay focused on the goal ahead of you.
So they're just waiting for the game clock to get reset back to 15 here. We're all set to go. As Ryan Gennard triggers it in, Donnelly at the top of the box. Donnelly a couple assists in that first half. Gennard a goal and an assist. Reed Bowering and a hat trick in the first quarter. 5 different goal scorers for the Dragons. Excuse me, 6. Forgot about Brent McVicker. Gennard, still 30 seconds on the extra man. Donnelly on the far side, Gennard now. Sean Curcio in there. Nice hit there in the middle by Dominic Pryor as Cole tried to catch and shoot.
Yeah, Pryor was waiting for that to happen inside there. He was ready to go on Cole as soon as he touched that ball, sails it high.
Still 11 seconds of the man up. Feed back out top. Pass too high for Curcio, and there's a positive for the Pride to start the third, a stop.
Right, exactly what we said. Step one is getting a stop there, right? Need a successful clear here, and then a good offensive possession to really get the momentum going in Hofstra's way.
If Hofstra gets this ball on offense, the question becomes, who other than Ryan Tierney could show up? Tierney with both goals so far. That after being held scoreless in the semifinals. In the semis, Hofstra did have other guys. It was James Philbin out of the midfield. We saw Dylan McIntosh at attack. They created. They have not been able to get their shots yet today.
Yeah, I think Philbin and Sykes and Forte in the midfield for Hofstra, they really need to generate those offensive looks. And like you said, Travis, Dylan McIntosh, right? So he short stick last week. We've seen him short stick a little bit here today. So what are they doing about that? Are they having him go one-on-one? Are they using that to set picks and go into a two-man game? And turnovers like that are not going to help.
Yeah, you just can't do that if you're going to dig out of an 8-goal deficit. James Philbin's pass was wide.
Yeah, and if you're Coach Tierney, you just got to be frustrated. You feel like your offense has just really never gotten going at all today, ever at one point, and just continue to have sort of self-inflicted wounds hurt you.
Yeah, early on, they got a couple of possessions, and then Drexel went on that run. They won a bunch of faceoffs, the Dragons, and it just felt like Hofstra in that first quarter didn't have a lot of offensive possessions. And now the lack of possessions has hurt them because now every possession means so much offensively.
Right, and that's when you start, gripping your stick a little tighter, and your hands and your arms get a little bit shorter on your passes.
Tomac finds the side of the cage, gets his own ground ball, still loose in front. Hofstra has to have this ground ball. Got a push, and that'll go to the prime. Loose ball push is not a flagged out situation. It's just a change of possession.
Come on now, sir. Reset.
And there's a second difference on the shot clock at 79. So we're gonna have a pause here as they make sure that it gets to the full 80 seconds. And Hofstra will go for the clear. Both these teams looking for their first CAA title in quite a while. For Drexel, it was 2014, their one and only CAA championship. For Hofstra, it's been even longer. They have not won a CAA title since 2008. They get it in the box offensively here. And now they'll set up. This is McIntosh, had 5 goals in the semifinals. Number 21 in that blue Hofstra jersey on the wing. Really hasn't been involved at all so far today. Here is McIntosh at X. Once again, is the short stick matchup.
Yep. So again, they're going to let him go one-on-one, try to draw that double and get the defense moving.
Skip pass across. Blumenthal, another save. That was on Tierney. Ground ball for Hofstra.
He will shoot it from wherever. Even if you're a defender and you think you got it covered, watch out. He's going to let it go.
Blumenthal has been really good up high. You mentioned it in the first half. He's not letting up goals up there.
No.
Justin Linsky, there's the bounce shot.
There we go.
Hofstra strikes first here in the second half.
You said it, Trav, just critical to change up shot selection there for Hofstra. We've seen a lot of high to high, a lot of low to low. Linsky just gets a great job here of catching on the backside and also using his defender as a screen to really block the goalie there, and then just puts it on the ground and is able to get that bouncing above Blumenthal's shoulder. So, changing up what you're doing, huge there for Hofstra. And maybe, this gives Linsky, other guys, McIntosh, that sort of motivation and confidence to get in the mix here along with Tierney.
And we got Jimmy Coita, who went early, a violation for Drexel. That's face-off violation number 1 here of the second half. It resets at halftime. But it gives Hofstra the possession back.
Sort of first signs of some positive momentum here for Hofstra. See if they can capitalize on another possession here. Again, really want to see these midfielders dodging hard, downhill, make this Drexel defense move.
Ball sent behind. This is
going back to McIntosh.
Yeah. Here he is, McIntosh from the wing. It's where he had all his success in the semifinal. Battling against a really good D-midi in Luke Hurley.
Yeah.
Sheridan gets downhill. Blumenthal a piece, but not enough. Back-to-back goals for Hofstra.
And that's what we're talking about there, Sheridan, right? Big kid, athletic, fast, downhill, right? Use your body, get your shoulder lowered. I love that he just takes on the pole there, splits 2 poles actually, and then gets a good shot off. And a really good job there. That's the type of aggressive dodging Hofstra needs from this midfield. And I think too, they're going back to McIntosh with the short stick, right? I'd like to see them clear out a little bit more room for McIntosh to then fully drive that slide. But again, now we're seeing that life and seeing this momentum from this Hofstra offense.
That was a grown man move from the sophomore from British Columbia.
Yeah, downhill.
Herbert and Koida locked up here at the X. Remember, this was something that was supposed to be taken out of the game with the new standing neutral grip face-off rules. But it's something we have seen a little bit more of here at times this year than was expected. Herbert moves it out. Ground ball. Pryor had a chance at it, trying to move it forward. Drexel scoops it up. And there are the Dragons. Ryan Genord streaks in, and now he'll settle things down. That face-off battle's been 3-on-3. It's been Drexel winning a lot of those ground balls.
Yeah, we've seen that really all game long, and I was just going to comment, Genord's a great guy to have when you need to settle things down. Just that foot speed and controlling things and controlling that ball. It's not going to show up on the stats thing, and it's a very small thing, but makes a big difference.
Here's Shinori, takes his man behind. Now Bowering.
Oh, yeah.
Bowering,
oh.
Stopped by Casey. Big time save and a turnover. It goes over midfield. Oh, however, no. You're good. Drexel's good. If the shot clock reset, it was still in the first 20 seconds. Drexel is able to go over, and they take advantage. Sean Quinn. The long ball goes end-to-end with the ground ball. Hofstra was confused by the new rules. This happened when they put in the shot clock. First 20 seconds of the shot clock, you can go back over midfield. Hofstra stopped. See Dominic Pryor wanting the call, and Sean Quinn just kept on moving.
Sean Quinn getting a second chance. He had a shot very similar earlier where he was hands-free from about 8 yards. And I tell you, if you're Bobby Casey as a goalie, that is the last thing you want to see is a defenseman streaking down full speed with his wide open shot in front of you, but able to convert and just, heads up play by Drexel as a whole, right? Understanding the rules and not stopping and ultimately capitalizing.
Another battle on the face-off. It's one ground ball by Drexel.
And that's tough there too, Travis. As you know, Hofstra, 2 really solid possessions there, starting to see some momentum, and then having sort of a deflating play like that, again, just takes the wind out of your sails a little bit, and they got to fight to get it back.
Either way, Sean Quinn had no goals in the regular season, now had one in the semifinal and one in the CAA championship game.
When it matters most, I like it.
Senior out of Summit, New Jersey. He's had a great career for Drexel. First team All-CAA defender this year. This is Casey Waller. Skip passes it back out top. Drexel once again with the ground ball. Mailman's taken down, and that's a call against Drexel to give it to the Pride. Tell you what, that's a killer for Bobby Casey too, because he made a spectacular save right before. He's got a flag down. The free possession for the Pride with the flag down around midfield.
No sense in waiting here for Hofstra. Makes sense, just with the time and the deficit. Want to get into something, get a shot off. If not, take the extra man opportunity.
Dodging from X is James Philbin. Feeds. I think somebody must have deflected that. It was. And I think we could have an offsides call there on Hofstra because he stepped over to the midline, and now we'll get the penalty.
Here we go now, Blue. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, Blue. Here we go, man up.
Yeah, if I'm Hofstra there, I think just the effectiveness of their man-up offense, right? They got a lot of good shooters, and it's just an advantageous situation when they're already struggling to get points. It just makes sense to get a shot off quickly there, being mindful of the time, and then go into your EMO offense.
30-second hold is the penalty called on Sean Donnelly, so he goes to the box. 30 seconds, 6-on-5 for Hofstra. Tierney has it at the top. Forte. Linsky on this wing on the near side. Linsky, extra pass down there to the doorstep. 9 more seconds on the extra man. Kind of feed it inside. Now it's Tierney down low, looking for Linsky. And it's a crease violation on Hofstra. It's a good look, you just couldn't complete the pass.
All even.
And we're back to even strength, penalty wiped off.
Here we go now, D. Let's go, Blue. Hey, here we go, D.
Credit to Drexel's defense too. They've been grinding it out and playing solid all day long. When you have a lot of offensive possessions, they're fresh for all of their defensive ones, and it just allows them to be more effective.
Loose ball is picked up by Mulcahy. Mulcahy lost his glove, so we got to stop play.
Hofstra's trying to argue that should be a change of possession there.
Ask Notre Dame's Pat Cavanaugh about losing equipment late in the game. Had one goal that would have been the game winner against Duke wiped off.
Let's go. Right now, Blue. Come on now,
Get Tomac going here on a shorty.
Gets to the right hand, shot off the bar. Or maybe a Casey. Whatever it was, it stayed out.
I think Donnelly could take 1 or 2 more steps upfield there to get himself a little bit more of an angle.
Hofstra needs more offense. They need it now. 5:30 to go in the third quarter. Trailing by 7 in this CAA championship game. Travis Eldridge, Davey Emila with you on Lax Sports Network. Both these teams looking for their first CAA title in quite a while. McIntosh has it deflected out of his stick. Good defense. That's been one of the differences. The short stick's been able to defend McIntosh here by Drexel, unlike against Delaware on Thursday.
They have. I don't think Hofstra's doing McIntosh any favors. Just their spacing is not ideal.
Donnelly looking to feed and ends up in the stick of Casey.
We'll see if they get to a situation where McIntosh has it again, but if he's gonna have that short stick, give him the space to allow him to beat that man, or at least to make that slide longer and more difficult for Drexel's defense. It's just gonna allow the offense to move that much more efficiently.
Sterling Ardrey, quiet today. He had 3 goals in the regular season meeting against Drexel. It was a season best. Linsky rolls, gets some help. Now matched up against the short stick. Now Ryan Tierney. Pass back out top. Sheridan from long range. His second in the second half. It's 11-5.
Yeah, Trav, we were wondering, besides Tierney, who was going to be. Now we got Sheridan stepping up here. Really nice, hard dodge down the alley for his first goal. And then, again, uses a defender as a screen here and is able to step into one from outside. I really like the idea of changing planes and going low here on Blumenthal. We've seen him just be money up top and making those saves. So really nice job there by Sheridan to make those adjustments and get a nice bouncer to go from deep.
So Sheridan, after 2 goals in the semifinal, 2 goals here today in the championship. 4 seed on the comeback trail. Coita got out of that clamp with the win. Now it's once again a ground ball. And honestly, this is a win for Drexel because Brian Herber's been so good this year at winning faceoffs, getting his own ground ball. more than 100 ground balls this season for Herbert, but Drexel has not let him do it.
No, and frankly, we've seen the opposite happen of Drexel then getting possession on the other side, of winning those ground balls or just winning the face-off outright.
Tomac on the run. He's got a step, and there's a flag.
Flag on the play.
Hofstra picks up the ground ball, but that will give us the penalty. The push as Tomac was dodging down the alley. He had a step, and they get Dylan McDermott, the short stick D midi,
Number 35, Dylan McDermott.
right there in the back.
30-second penalty for pushing.
Yeah, that's sort of right in front of the official too. That's going to get called pretty
You get
common.
the numbers in the back.
Yes.
That usually is not a good sign for you. 32nd man up for Drexel. Seen Reed Bowering effective on the man up. Curcio now to Bowering. Backside to Mulcahy. He skip passes, but it's stolen away by Michael Altman. Nice anticipation.
Call turnover number 25, Michael Altman.
Long pass ahead. Back to even strength.
Hey, way to work, man down! Get out, work!
Linsky. Nice catch by Forte.
Yeah. They could be really effective here, Travis, to end this third. Potentially, you know, get a quick goal here and then maybe one more possession. We're feeling better about the fourth quarter.
Linsky. Out top. Sheridan, little hitch move.
There you go.
Sheridan! A third quarter hat trick for the sophomore. It's a 5-goal game.
I think just in this one quarter, we've seen his confidence go from 0 to 10. He is firing on the field now. Like we said, just embracing contact, putting his shoulder down, getting downhill, and then getting a hands-free shot from 6. I think Sheridan just, a light bulb went off, said, hey, I'm gonna use my frame, I'm gonna use my body, I'm gonna make some things happen. Really nice job by 55.
So a 4-1 run here in the third quarter by Hofstra. Once again, Herbert and Koida at the X. Continues to be a lockup here. Herbert wins the face-off to himself. Minute 40 to go in the third quarter. Hofstra can cut this to 4. Yeah, guess who's back on the field? Ryan Sheridan.
Oh yeah, feed the hot hand. You start hearing some fans a little bit, hearing the Hofstra sideline a little bit more.
I mean, he's beating poles in some of these matchups too.
I mean, he's 6'4", 200 plus. He's a big boy.
Linsky. Oh, just too much there on the pass to Tierney, but it's a loose ball scooped up by Hofstra. Sometimes you just need a little luck, and the Pride get it there.
And that's the difference. Those balls were bouncing Drexel's way the entire game until now.
Sheridan's feeling it, man. Sheridan spins back. 19 seconds left on the possession clock. Forced inside there. And a ground ball scooped up by Sean Quinn.
Number 43, Sean Quinn.
Good pressure. Quinn trying to run away with it. Nearly stolen away, but they get it to the short stick with 6 seconds to go in the quarter.
See if Drexel goes fast here.
Mulcahy! There's a momentum shifter.
Talk about it. Wow. Just as we're sort of talking up the situation for Hofstra, right? They get a nice quick goal there from Sheridan, see if they can do it again. But then, you know, Quinn does a great job here just fighting for this ball out of his own end and eventually gets it up and out. Very close there, but I think we got lucky, and then Mulcahy just firing in from the box, sees an opening there, steps in, lets one go. And, you know, we were talking about the range of some of these other Drexel guys. He's got some range himself and just absolutely pokes that one as well.
And I like the move of Drexel not to wait there. You could see some teams take 20 seconds off the clock. Herber wins the faceoff. Herber right in! The answer! Flag is also down as Herber hits the turf.
Hofstra goal scored by number 1, Brian Herber.
We will check on Herber, but what a way to answer for Hofstra. Oh man, Patrick Udovich threw a haymaker of a hit up high.
Trying to see sort of how shoulder to shoulder that was, or a little bit late after the release.
The goal for Brian Herber is his first of the season. Good time for it. 2-minute penalty, unreleasable, called on the hit by Udovich. That is huge. What that means is we're not going to have a face-off here. Hofstra not only gets the man up, but they can score multiple goals on this extra man opportunity. They're 6 on 5 for the next 2 minutes, no matter what happens. Tierney lined it up like he's going to send that thing, and he will hold for the 4th quarter. So Hofstra will get possession to start the final 15 minutes. A little bit of life for the Pride here on Long Island. They trailed 10-2 at the half. A 5-2 run in this 3rd quarter has given Hofstra a little glimmer of hope. Linsky started the scoring in the quarter. Brian Herber got it going, as did Ryan Sheridan. It's 12-7 after 3. Hofstra trying to pull the comeback. Welcome back to the 2021 CAA Men's Lacrosse Championships here on LSN. Hofstra starts with the ball and a man-up situation to start this 4th quarter. Travis Eldridge, Davey Emila back with you. Ryan Tierney working at the top of the box. A 2-minute unreleasable penalty called on Patrick Udovich right at the end of the 3rd. Hofstra holding to keep possession here, and they start the 4th quarter with it. Lutfi on the wing. Tierney. About 45 seconds of the man up have come off so far. Lutfi. A lot of movement for the Pride, nothing really going yet for Hofstra. Lutfi, the skip pass. That's the shot they wanted.
Shot by number 6.
Backed up by the Pride. They keep possession. 56 seconds left on the man up. Bryce Tolmie in there on the 6 on 5. There's one inside and a score. It's Lutfi, his first of the day. 4-goal game.
Yeah, nice find and finish inside there. Eventually, as they got into it, I thought a little slow going to get started there for the man-up unit. There was a lot of ball movement, not a lot of foot movement, but then ball off the end line, they got into one of their quick hitter plays. Nice cut on the inside, catch, finish. See if Hofstra now can capitalize additionally here while there's still some time on the clock in the penalty.
Justin Linsky, the assist. Remember, unreleasable penalty, so this is a man-down face-off for Drexel. Still 6 on 5 Hofstra, but Jimmy Coita wins the face-off and the ground ball by Sean Quinn. We've seen that a couple of times today. That Drexel man-down face-off, they win the draw and they get the possession.
Yeah, they're doing a great job scrapping on these face-off ground balls.
Now they can run the rest of the 25-second man-down situation off. Mulcahy's trailed by a couple of defenders. Defense has been better in this second half for Hofstra so far. Just 2 goals for Drexel in the 3rd quarter after they put up 10 in the first half, including 7 in the first 15 minutes. We're back to even strength. Look out for Tomac. And that's a beautiful play. Tomac to Reed Bowering, and the grad student out of Coquitlam's got 4.
Drexel goal scored by number
If you're
21.
the Hofstra coaching staff, you're a little frustrated there. You can hear him saying that Tomac is going to come back to his right, obviously being his strong hand. Still got the slide upfield anyway. Another common rule defensively that we talk about is you never want to be sliding upfield, especially when you're leaving Reed Bowering, who anything in his radius he's catching and finishing, as we just saw there. So, Hofstra comes out with some momentum. Drexel just takes it right back.
Reed Bowering now has 18 goals in his last 5 games. Koida goes early. By the way, last couple of faceoffs, we've seen Brian Herber out there. That's good news after he took the big hit that caused the penalty after he scored his first goal of the year.
Took a big hit, and I know the training staff took a look at him, but came to the conclusion that he's good to go.
Erlen Ardrey comes on, the electric midfielder out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Now Ryan Tierney. 2 goals in the first half. 3 points so far today for the All-American candidate, the Tuorton nominee. Pass is intercepted. These short sticks for Drexel, I think sometimes are underrated. Hurley and Grippo have been really good.
They have. And I know we want to work with Tierney and get his hands free, but if I'm Hofstra, I'm making them stop Ryan Sheridan because they have not yet this half.
Sheridan with 3 goals in that third quarter. Now Drexel can start to bleed a little bit of time on each possession. Don't expect them to go in a hurry and transition much.
Yeah, and this is where you can really see the maturity that you have as a team. It's a fine line to walk as an offense of taking that time off the clock, but also still applying pressure on the defense and still playing, right? You don't want to be stagnant and just stop playing, throw the ball around and play catch out there. You want to be running your offense, generating opportunities while taking time off the clock and having it all come together nicely.
Tomac's shot sent wide. Now 29 seconds on the shot clock for Drexel. Good save by Casey, but a reset of the shot clock. Who do they give it to? They give it
Let's go blue.
to Hofstra. Good run out there. I think it might have been Michael Altman. Here's your man, Ryan Sheridan. You should get another look at this opportunity by Genord right off the pipe.
Casey just was able to get a little piece of that there a little bit. But I really like that. That was just a great play both ways. I like the play by Genord to be aggressive, getting to the rack, and then obviously Bobby Casey making a great save to make that go off the pipe, and Hofstra's there for the run out.
Every possession down by 5 here for Hofstra, that much more important. This is Bryce Tolmie. Gets inside, Sterling Ardrey, hands free. Just up off the bar, and no backup for Hofstra. That's a killer.
Killer, and those are the two things. One, hands-free step down, got to hit the cage, but also we got to have someone backing up to keep that possession, just giving Drexel a little bit, giving them the ball back too easy.
Drexel a little caught here in the clearing game, and offsides.
Yeah.
Too many guys on.
Someone was off at some point there. There's a couple times I think that could have been called.
A lot of guys along the midline going back and forth.
You know that's never a good sign.
Our officials will discuss things here.
We'd always see that in clearing drills in practice, the quick scurry back on side so we wouldn't have to run.
No, Coach, I was on this side of the field.
What are you talking about?
Both sidelines advocating for their own side.
Right. Hoping their argument will be heard by the 3 officials here talking it out.
It's a collaborative effort trying to figure out
making sure they're getting it right.
Who had too many guys on what side of the field. And it is Drexel ball, so they rule that Hofstra was offsides. $10:25. That is how much time is between Drexel and their second ever CAA title. 5-goal lead. And another flag down. Casey Waller drawing it.
That hurts there. Drexel can really take some time off the clock here, knowing that they have a free possession while still applying pressure.
And they will get a free new 80 seconds on the shot clock as soon as the penalty comes in, so they can bleed the rest of this 20 seconds if they want. Time is on their side. Skip pass back to Donnelly off the pipe. And that will give us the penalty.
Shot by number 8, Donnelly.
The hold is called on Dominic Pryor, the senior short stick defensive midfielder for Hofstra.
Hofstra penalty on number 7, Dominic Pryor.
Big penalty to kill off here for Hofstra.
That's a 30-second penalty for holding.
Hey, let's go, team! Defense! Watch the cutter! Watch the cutter! Watch 21!
Donnelly here on the wing, Mulcahy.
Watch the cutter! 50! Watch 50!
Man up for Drexel, moves the ball so well. Bowering. Mulcahy. And the penalty is released. We're back to even strength. Here comes Donnelly from the top.
Yeah. Ended up with a short stick after that, the man down there, but I think they're completely fine with being patient here and taking more time off this clock.
Donnelly looking for the skip pass. It's intercepted. Oh, great takeaway. Oh, flag. Mulcahy wanted the clean takeaway.
Yeah, might be a hand on the back situation. My thoughts, though, are always, if the ball's on the ground, I got sticks, so.
Spoken like a true attackman. Mulcahy, man, this was one heck of a check as you had the interception by Dalton Seas. Yeah, there you go. You got the hole. You kind of got the shoulder there.
Yeah.
Good call. 32nd man up now for Hofstra. Only able to score 1 goal on that 2-minute extra man that started this fourth quarter. It's an unreleasable. Now just 30 seconds to work as Tommy just took his eyes off it. Luckily, they get the ground ball. Linsky there to save the day. 7 seconds left on the 32nd man up. Step down shot. Bouncer goes wide from Forte.
Hofstra shot by number 40, Riley Forte.
Only a second left. The man up. So Lutfi feeds. Here comes the man. Forte sends it wide again.
Shot by number 40, Riley Forte.
Just not quite clicking yet for Hofstra. The offense, the extra man, the shot selection.
Ryan Tierney to trigger it in. Tierney draws another slide. Tierney battling for that open man. He had like three guys
defensemen on him.
Step down shot to score. One finally goes for Hofstra, back within 4. Linsky from long range.
Yeah, Linsky was the first to really change planes here on the Blumenthal and Cage. He went from everyone shooting up high to a nice bouncer and does it here again. This is a really nice high bouncer that just double team, find the open man, and accurately throw that bouncer. And that's a tough save there for Blumenthal, but Linsky keeping Hofstra alive here, giving a little bit more life, and now the deficit's only 4. Big face-off.
Huge face-off. Been a pretty even battle. Hofstra with the slight edge. They've won 2 more face-offs than Drexel, but it's been neck and neck all game long. Herber locked up with Koida. Loose ball. This has come up Drexel more often than not today, but the Pride come up with the ground ball. Pryor.
See if they push here. Go right into it.
Tierney, tough angle, and Blumenthal read it.
I think Blumenthal, he's had to watch enough film to just anytime 13 has it in his stick, he's going to save it. I would probably like a little better shot selection, get a little bit more into the offense, but
times it's hard to argue with Ryan Tierney's shot selection with what he's able to do.
I've seen those go, including today. So
yeah. When you score from your back, at some point,
it's like, okay.
Like you got limitless expectations.
Right. The green light is always on.
Drexel to try to chew a little more time off. 4-goal lead, 13-9. 6:30 to go. Tomac. And Tomac is playing maybe the most lacrosse he's played of the year in this game. Big time minutes for a freshman who has proven that he deserves it. Bowering! Oh, what an individual effort. Speaking of deserving it, a 5-pack for Bowering.
We talk about Tierney being the king of no angle, but enter Reed Bowering. All right, this is a really nice play, and again, a little bit of that box influence of just toeing the goal line extended, just no angle, but as I always say, the head of your stick has eyes. Just because you can't see it, it does have an angle, doesn't mean you can't get your stick to the point where they have an angle, and that's exactly what Bowering was able to do there. Little 5-hole action to get this lead back to 5.
5 goals for Reed Bowering today.
You start looking at that 5-goal deficit, start looking at the clock. 1 goal per minute. It gets a little tougher and tougher for Hofstra.
It does. Face-off win for Herber, but the key for Drexel, you make him go back at least. So even if you lose the face-off, you make him go behind, and now it takes more time to get it over midfield and then get your offense going.
Takes time and effort.
Yeah. Hofstra offensively, couple of goals and assists from Justin Linsky, couple of goals and an assist from Ryan Tierney, 3 goals from Ryan Sheridan. Erlen Ardrey draws the pull after putting 3 goals on this Drexel team in the regular season. Sheridan, now McIntosh. He was the guy in the semifinal. McIntosh draws a flag. McIntosh stopped by Blumenthal. But we will get a man up for Hofstra. 11 saves now for Ross Blumenthal.
Feels like more.
I mean, I tell you what, anything that hasn't been a bounce shot, I think he's stopped.
Yeah. Agree, especially in that first half. I mean, anything, whether it was on the doorstep or an 8-yard step down, he was meeting the challenge, staying high on everything.
Seen Ross Blumenthal play a number of games. This may be the best game of his career.
Fellow Baltimore, Maryland native.
He came up with a really big game in the semifinals of the 2019 CAA tournament against UMass, an upset for Drexel. Went on to lose to Towson in that championship game 2 years ago, the last tournament that was held. But this one, I think he's been even better. Lutfi.
He has, and just staying on Blumenthal for a second, his poise. Oh, there we go.
Tough angle. Sam Lutfi, his second of the day. And they get back within 4 again for Hofstra.
Yeah, again, nice shot selection here by Sam. We were just talking about Blumenthal and how well he's done on shots up top there, but just freezes him a little bit, staying high, and then goes right into 5-hole there, just beats Blumenthal to the spot.
Hofstra takes a timeout, trying to continue the comeback. We'll step aside. 4:41 to go in the CAA championship. No, we will not take a timeout. Sorry about that. Some miscommunication. Brian Hermer, Jimmy Coita back at the face-off X. Once again, Alaka.
This is, the 3rd or 4th we've seen here today.
And in talking with Greg Gorenlian, who had a chance to do our semifinal, I asked him, why is this happening when it's not supposed to happen this year? And a lot of it is the officiating of it is still inconsistent. And with the COVID protocols, it's caused some different issues in terms of the official putting the ball down and when he is stepping back and all the different commands. And so that probably has a part to play in this situation. But we've seen I think 2 or 3 lockups so far.
Yeah, at least 3.
That was one of the main reasons that coaches wanted to change the face-off rule to what we see this year. Drexel will take it because they keep winning them.
That's right.
And they have a chance to take this down to around 3 minutes to go.
If you're Hofstra, you got to look at when are we going to really start applying this pressure here, right? 4 goals, championship game. Not a lot of time to waste.
Got to get a stop, that's for sure. Aiden Cole. He's got a couple of goals. Cole looking for the backside feed, a stop by Casey. Ground ball, but it's taken away by Drexel.
By number 8, Sean Donnelly, stopped by
Dragons have just been there over and over again, and they come up with the ground ball in a fresh 80 seconds.
This could almost be better for Drexel than having that goal go in.
Yeah, 100%. They can take this down to under 2 minutes to play. Reed Bowering holding on to it. Still plenty of time. Bowering stopped by Casey. Maybe surprised they went there. A great look, but
a great look. You almost realize you're too open and then just end up playing catch with the goalie.
Hofstra gets it over. They got to go now.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we didn't see a little bit more urgency on the defensive side, but obviously, getting under 2 minutes here, 4-goal deficit, offense needs to go, and they need to win a couple faceoffs.
McIntosh feeds. Sheridan coming on. Ryan Sheridan trying to get inside. Feeds. Nobody home there on the inside roll. Minute 40 to go in the CAA championship game. Forte. Ryan Tierney. Pass comes all the way through. Nothing there against this Drexel defense. Feed inside. Shot and a score. As close as Hofstra has been since the first quarter, James Philbin's got one.
Hofstra goal, his 20th of the season, scored by number 30, James Philbin.
Yeah, Philbin was able to just sort of sneak in there. Sheridan, another nice play by him, just obviously drawing a lot of attention with the third quarter that he had. And then Philbin just finds that soft spot, and they're able to connect and put that away in the low corner. Just chipping away.
Maybe a little too long. It's going to come down to face-off play. They send Chase Patterson out there instead of Herbert. Koida just straight up wins it. How about the senior? Timeout, Drexel. Koida is fired up. We will now step aside. 1 minute and 7 seconds. Drexel from a CAA championship. Brian Volker and Drexel are 1 minute and 7 seconds away from their second CAA men's lacrosse championship. They have possession, and they can run almost all of the clock away. Actually, no, they can run all the clock away. 1 minute and 16 seconds left on that shot clock, 76. 1 minute and 7 seconds left of the game clock, a 3-goal lead. As Hofstra is going to pull the goalie, and it works. Bobby Casey steals it away. That happened quick.
Yeah, probably not what Drexel was looking for, communicating coming out of that timeout.
Hofstra nearly sends it away. A couple of Difficult passes. Tierney, tough angle. Back up there for Hofstra. 46 seconds to go. McIntosh in a hurry. McIntosh all the way in. And a crease violation, I believe. Yep, as it went to the side of the cage.
Blumenthal looking for a flag.
He did make contact.
Yeah.
Crease violation, Dragon ball.
I'm surprised that wasn't, quite frankly.
I think Drexel will take the 40 seconds they've got left from hoisting the trophy. Risky pass back across the middle. Open net, and that may do it. The open net goal for Drexel. Aiden Cole finds the back of the net with 25 seconds left, his third of the day, and the lead is 4 for the Dragons.
Number 35, Brennan Green. Time to goal is 14:35. Timeout.
Timeout here as Drexel really can feel it now. Gives us a chance to take a look at today's Hercules Tires strong move of the game. It's going to come in a losing effort, but Ryan Tierney's goal in the first quarter may be the goal of the year in the CAA. This from his back is just incredible.
It may be the goal of the year and a long list of potential goal of the years from Tierney. He seems to be a magician and come up with these crazy ways to score every single time. Being no different there. Unbelievable scoring from your back.
Ryan Tierney with our Hercules Tires strong move of the game, ride on our strength. What this means is this is going to be the last time we see Ryan Tierney don that Hofstra uniform. What a career it has been for Ryan Tierney, playing for his father Seth, which is not easy in coming into the expectations that were on him and everything coming into this year. And for them to get to this championship game, I think says a lot about Ryan and this team.
I think you're right, and it's interesting when we talked to Seth Tierney earlier in the year, and we ask about Ryan and coaching your son and stuff, and he goes through it, and he's like, I never put any pressure on it, and sort of almost not pushes it away, but it's like, hey, this is just the way that we've been operating. There has to be some emotions here coming towards this end of the game, as it's been such an amazing run for both of them.
They had a cool moment watching the Premier Lacrosse League draft together when Ryan was picked to play at the next level. He'll have a chance to make the Whipsnakes roster coming up here in the next couple of months. But for now, I'm guessing there'll be a nice moment on the sideline at some point at the end of this one. Hofstra wins the faceoff, 18 seconds to go. Drexel 14 seconds away. Tolmy. Feed inside, take it away. Sean Quinn, who else? A fitting way for Drexel to end it. The senior defenseman sends it the length. 2021 goes to the Dragons in the CAA. Kings of the conference. For the first time since 2014, Drexel is dancing.
Well deserved.
Fans, we ask that you please stay seated for the championship awards ceremony, which will begin in
a lot of credit goes to Coach Brian Volker and just the way that he got this team, as we've mentioned over and over again on this broadcast, but got this team ready to go and playing their best lacrosse come tournament time and come May. And that's a hard thing to do, especially with all the different circumstances going on in this year and the different challenges that you're facing and the challenge that it is even to get to a game. But this coaching staff deserves a lot of credit for putting this team in position to be successful.
Yeah, head coach Brian Volker in his 12th year, winning his second CAA title. His team has won 9 in a row. Just unbelievable. Longest winning streak now since 2014 when they won 9 in a row. They'll have a chance to best it in the NCAA tournament. That's where that 2014 team got their 9th win in the first round, so they'll go for a perfect 10 in a row. In the NCAA tournament first round, they'll learn their fate during Selection Sunday tomorrow. Selection show on ESPNU. Stephen Boyle, assistant coach. Tucker Durkin, assistant coach for this Drexel team. They did a spectacular job with this group.
They really have. And I mean, starting on the defensive end, you talk about Coach Tucker Durkin and just obviously, what he brought as a player. You can see that in a lot of these Drexel defensemen currently. I think specifically, you look at Sean Quinn, he's all over the field. He sets the tone for them in that end with his physical presence. I think he made that play at the end of the game here, which is very fitting. But he really sets the tone, and you can just see the influence that, Tucker Durkin's having on the defensive end. And then, Coach Stephen Boyle with the offense. We just talk about all the different pieces, not only the pieces that they have, but putting that all together, right? You have Sean Donnelly coming in from Syracuse, right? You have different, Cole, you have Gennard, who was an attackman halfway through the year and now is, playing midfielder and just flying out of the box. You have a guy like Tomac, who's just, seems like the sky's the limit for him. So, credit to these assistant coaches and ultimately, Coach Brian Volker for what they've done with this group, because, this team has a chance to do some damage in the NCAA tournament.
Oh, 100%. Whoever sees Drexel on the opposite end is going to be scared of this team, because you watch it, it's not one guy you got to shut down on this team, because any given day it could be Donnelly, it could be Bowering, it could be Aiden Cole, it could be Ryan Chenord, Jack Mulcahy's had some big games. There's a reason they've been a top 15 team here for the last half of the season.
And I think you see it too, and every time we have a game with Drexel, they're pulling somebody different on the first midfield line. I think that tells you a lot of just about the way that this group has come together, the dynamic way that they can attack you with the different individuals. I think we started seeing the poll. We started out with Mailman most games, and then shifted over to Mulcahy, and now I'm not so sure you're not going to see it on Tomac. Quite honestly. So a lot of options there for Drexel.
How about Jimmy Koida, too? He's a guy who struggled at the beginning part of the season, adjusting to the new face-off rules. Talking to Greg Gorenlian, a kid out of the Bronx that really didn't start learning the face-off until the very end of his high school career. Figured it out in college, became a dominant face-off guy last season. Then I had to kind of reset all the way back to zero and learn the standing neutral grip. And here he is, winning some of the biggest face-offs in this program's history down the stretch to ice this game.
Yeah, he's really impressive. Not only just, for his ability to win face-offs, but his athleticism and scrappiness, when it does become a ground ball. And I think you saw all of his emotion off that last face-off win when I think there was about a minute left when they knew that they had it in the bag. You saw a lot of emotion come out from him right there, and I think that was more than just that play. That was a lot of things built up. This is all of what you work for, and just to have that, if your coach, I imagine, coach came out to him and said, hey, give me a face-off, we're going to ice this game. And to go out and do that, that's a really cool feeling.
Yeah, and there are different face-off guys that used the beginning of the year and trying to make sure he was the guy. And every time we asked Coach Volker, he said, you know what, he's figuring it out. We think he's got, and a lot of credit to Jimmy Koida as a player and a person figuring it out. Drexel waits that awesome moment where they get to hoist the CAA championship trophy. Came up just short in the regular season, finishing 6-2 behind Delaware, who got the regular season title outright for the first time since 2005, but the Dragons, kings of the tournament.
Yeah, and another guy you got to give a ton of credit to is Blumenthal in cage for Drexel today. I think, and really, this game, the tone was set in the first quarter, and that was really the difference. And not only was it the goal scoring from Drexel and the fact that they put up 7, it was absolutely shutting the door by Blumenthal in cage, and those were not easy saves. Those were on top of him, point-blank saves that he matched sticks and did an incredible job on, and really made saves that he wasn't even expected to make, and that really separated these two teams in the first quarter.
I have a feeling there are going to be some practices of bounce shots of whatever team gets.
That's right.
Because Ross Blumenthal and everything else today was stellar. Really impressive performance from him. Comes up with 11 saves in the end. Ultimately gives up 11 goals, but that almost doesn't reflect exactly how good he was today.
Yeah, and, you got to give a lot of credit to Hofstra, too, just as a group, for the season. Just the challenges. I know we were ready to do their game versus Towson, and that game got canceled, and just sort of the different things that get thrown your way and different challenges, to end up being here, to have a tough battle with Delaware on Thursday night and grind your way to the championship on your home turf. There's nothing better than that. I was fortunate myself to play our ACC championship our senior year at Chapel Hill on your home turf, and just a really cool experience and feeling overall. So I think, Hofstra just got to give themselves credit for how they battled not only through this tournament but the entire season.
Oh, 100%. If there was maybe one surprise people might have thought is Hofstra walking into this tournament, finding a way through, because offensively they just hadn't been there. They kind of figured it out in the second half against Fairfield the last game, but they were looking for it. And that win in the semifinals on Thursday against Delaware was one of the most impressive that Hofstra has had all year.
Yeah.
A complete team effort as they took down the top seed in this tournament, had a chance to host this championship game. And you mentioned it was the first quarter. Drexel came out, and unlike against UMass on Thursday, Drexel went pedal to the metal right away, and that first half by Drexel may have been the best first half they played all year.
I think you're right, and it's not only just, again, going back to looking at the scoreboard, but just the way that they were playing. Fast, open, free, right? Slinging passes from your hip right to the guy's ear. You know, it's typical for teams that haven't been in this situation before, or, you know, any excuse you could use this year of coming out tight, tentative, right? Of just, you know, feeling it out a little bit. Things aren't clicking right away. This team literally did not waste a second and was just, like you said, pedal to the metal from second one.
They give a standing ovation to Hofstra, who finishes runners-up this year. Second time in a row. As they announce the all-conference team here in the CAA.
For Hofstra,
well, listen in.
Sheridan, Dylan McIntosh, and Ryan Tierney. For the Drexel Dragons, number 8, Sean Donnelly.
Well deserved there. How about the tournament he had?
Yeah, and I think we're going to see him being
the
the
Dragons,
centerpiece of this team for
Sean
the next couple of years.
Sean Quinn
Yep.
sealed up the game with that caused turnover.
And we just hit on him. I mean, he sets the tone for this entire
Yeah.
team. Just, you know, you need that guy who no one wants to go and gets on the
And for
defensive
the
end.
Dragons,
That's
number
him.
32, Ross Blumenthal.
And Ross Blumenthal, yeah, well deserved.
Certainly well deserved. Blumenthal, especially today. Just we talked about it. Those saves in the first half ended
And
up being that
recognized for his
difference.
outstanding play throughout the championship, the 2021 CAA Men's Lacrosse Champion, most outstanding player, is Reed Bowery.
Reed Bowery, another Canadian. We mentioned that 2014 team, Ben McIntosh, one of the leaders on that squad.
There you go.
Reed Bowery, another kid who's going to go out in the west coast of British Columbia, play for the Vancouver Warriors in the
Congratulates the Dragons of
NLL.
Drexel
Look out
University
indoors.
for the 2021
And we know the impact he has on the
Men's
field, but you
Championship,
just see the
with
reaction he
team
got from his
captain and
teammates,
head
you know,
coach
for winning
Brian
that award.
Bolter
You see the
accept
impact he has off the
championship
field as
trophy
well.
on
He's been
behalf
there for a
of
while.
Drexel
Outstanding
University.
career, deserves everything he's getting.
Mailman Reed Bowering and Jimmy Coita, the captains on this squad, along with the CAA Coach of the Year, Brian Volker.
2021 CAA.
And here's the moment you dream about. Drexel, your 2021 CAA champs.
Please be sure
That's
to
good
watch
stuff.
the NCAA Division I Men's Lacrosse Selection Show on ESPNU on Sunday, May
So,
9th,
Davey, that brings it to an end, man. It was a fun run. The CAA this year did not disappoint. This was one heck of a league this season, and this tournament did not disappoint one bit.
No, you're right about that. I feel like each week we had a new story and new action and new stuff to talk about. And as quickly and excited we were to start, it's coming to an end here. So that flew by, but that means that it was a good thing when it travels by that quickly.
It was a unique season, a unique year. We saw some of the best games we've seen. We saw some of the best goals we've seen.
Did.
How about Jack Mulcahy's one-hander against UMass
That's right.
a couple of weeks ago? Ryan Tierney saving some of his best for last here today. But in the end, the team playing the best lacrosse, the hottest team not only in this league, but one of the hottest teams in the country.
Yeah.
Winners now of 9 in a row, ends up hoisting the trophy at the end.
And you just never know what it's going to be, right? I think halfway through the season we thought Delaware was maybe trending in that direction.